All right. Hey, everybody. Hi. How you guys doing? Excited to get you guys on here tonight. We're gonna have some good conversation. Definitely go ahead and share this feed with a family member, a friend, somebody you love that you really want to help to get that focus going and get that growth going. This is definitely going to be a really good call tonight, a good live tonight, because we're going to be diving into how to really use credit to build assets, right? How to use credit to build assets, because most of you probably grew up hearing things like, stay out of debt and, tear up those credit cards. And definitely there's a lot of truth to that to some point, because there is definitely a thing as bad debt, right? But there's also a thing of good debt. Now, it does take discipline, it takes focus, but I promise you, if you do that, then you can really put yourself in a position to be able to really build a nice wealth portfolio, because most of the wealthy have used debt to build their assets unless they were heirs or came into an inheritance, right? But if you look like me or you, more than likely, we are going to be first generational wealth, maybe second, but most of the time first. And so I want to make sure we have this conversation, because I think there are a lot of people out there that are wanting to invest, that are wanting to get in real estate, that are wanting to do these things. But the reality is they don't get involved because they're really just unclear about what the next steps are. And they're unclear about, what this whole thing looks like. So we're going to have a conversation about that, because I'm really focused on, making sure, that you guys more than meet your goals and supersede your goals. Because I'm tripping at the fact that, like, right, it's already second quarter. We're about to be halfway through the end of the year, 2024 already. You know what I mean? And I want to really make sure you're in a position so that when you get ready to cross over to 2025, you can really say, okay, Shay, I'm about to bring you up for 2 seconds, girl, too. I really want you to be at a point where going into 2025, you feel like you have really, exceeded your goals, Lexi. That's where I want you to be. And so this conversation is very important because everything is about strategy, right? Having good health is about strategy, right? I got my water right here. This is part of my good health plan. I got some sugar-free kombucha that I love, like coffee, and it's sugar-free. But my point is, it's a strategy for everything. It's a strategy to look good. It's a strategy to feel good. And it's a strategy to have money, right? And it's a strategy to know how to build money. And so this conversation is very, very important because a lot of you who kind of follow me, you've been kind of looking, Tanya, and seeing, hey, where are we at? And one of the first things that we want to do here at Accetify is help you to establish good credit. That part is really important because once you get your credit together, and then we can get you funded, right? So that now you can start to do real estate deals that are 100% financed. You don't have to worry about bringing any money to the table at all. Now, if you want to use some of your capital, or maybe retirement or just liquidity that you had, you can do that. But I want to make sure that we have this conversation. So I'm bringing on a credit specialist tonight. Her name is Shay Davis. I'm excited. You guys will have an opportunity to hear from her. You're going to get the blueprint. So go ahead and get your pen and paper right now. I got mine right here, honey. Okay, I love taking notes. I'm a student always. You want to continue to be a lifelong learner so that you can get to a point where you're cash flowing, buying real estate, flipping it, and then also buying it, and then, putting tenants in there so you can really grow a nice portfolio. And even within these next, few months that are left before the end of the year, you can really make sure you're tracking by getting your credit together, getting you funded, and then we can help get you into the market. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on my sister, Shay Davis. Hey, girl, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. I'm excited to have you on here tonight. I was just thrilled when I realized you were coming to the Monopoly and Real Life Conference in Atlanta, Georgia. This weekend is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Atlanta. Y'all still have time to pull up. You have time to get your tickets. I'm going to put it at the bottom of the screen in a minute because I want you all to be able to really get in a room with other people that are really doing it like for real. Like there's no
Yes.
reason in 2024 why you cannot be like highly, highly, highly successful. But it does take strategy and it does take the right information. And so I'm really excited to have you on here tonight because I have, a nice sized community and we're growing. And
Mhm.
one of the things that I hear sometimes people get really nervous when it comes time for us talking about getting them credit cards and getting them open lines of credit.
Sure.
So before we kind of dive into that, I want you to just kind of talk about all the things that having good credit impacts. I don't think people realize it
Yeah.
impacts like everything, your interest rate, car note,
Right. Right.
insurances, all that. So why is having good credit so important? And why is it connecting with the community like a Cetify here so that you have access to people like you? So talk
Sure.
about all the different things that credit impacts first.
So, first off, I think the biggest thing with credit is you're always going to need it. So, there are ways that we can try to work around it, asking a family member or friend to use their credit. But at the end of the day, you have to get yourself in position because it is going to affect where you live. It is going to affect the car that you drive and how much money you have and what you're able to save. So, absolutely, it affects your whole financial life more than we realize. And we can try to run away from it, but you're going to end up needing it. And the better knowledge that you have, just the better off you are going to be. And a lot of times that knowledge comes from the people that you're connected with, the people that the rooms that you're in, because like you were saying, we're not taught these things. So if we don't have this information, how do we change that? We can't just keep saying, well, I was never taught that. So it takes being around people that know things and that can help you out. And there's nothing wrong with it. I would much rather learn from someone else's mistakes to put me in a better position. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it literally impacts like your homeowner's insurance, your
Yes.
car insurance, right? And
Mhm.
that's the part that I want people to know. It's not just, well, when you go get that new car, your
Sure.
interest rate is going to be higher. Or when you go get that house, your interest rate is going to be higher. But literally all of the insurances, car,
Mhm.
home, they're looking at even I recently just got another car for our Detroit property.
Mhm.
And they were like, okay, we're going to run your credit first. Even though I have car insurance with several cars in Tennessee,
Mhm.
they still wanted to know what was my credit. And
Absolutely.
I'm like, dang, like it impacts every area of your life. So you're probably paying, I'm gonna probably
Mhm.
say you're probably paying 40% more
Sure.
overall if that credit is not together. So you need to get your
Sure.
credit for that, right? Now let's talk a little bit about bad debt, right? Because
Mhm.
that's the kind of credit that we heard, grandmama would say, you better
Yeah.
stop the debt, pay that debt off. Don't
Yeah.
use it because there is a bad debt. So talk a little bit
Sure.
about that
Sure.
bad debt.
So we consider bad debt things that are not benefiting you. So a credit card that you're able to go shopping with and things like that is not benefiting you at all. That would be considered bad debt. If you're not able to leverage that debt whatsoever to your benefit, it's bad debt. And those are the things that we absolutely do want to stay away from. But at the same time, it's not so much of I'll fix that. It's not stay away from credit cards, it's stay away from how you use the credit cards. So that's the key thing, because you absolutely want to build credit. You want to have those credit cards. You want to have an Amex at all times. Absolutely. But it's how you use it that makes it bad debt. It's how you manage it that really, really puts you into bad debt because of you don't know how to manage it, how you handle it, how do you use it. So that's what we would consider bad debt.
Yeah, definitely. So, like, I don't want y'all to get,
Mhm.
$50,000. Shay get you $50,000 of credit, and now you in Cancun, you at the
Right.
Gucci store, you at the steakhouse, you turning popping bottles. Like, that
Yes.
is not that is definitely considered bad debt. I always tell people, think about, is that debt going to create cash flow? Is
Right.
that debt going to give increase to your life? Is it going to create capital? Is it going to create cash flow? Because
Mhm.
the whole goal is I want to make sure that you guys are in a position for two main things. I want you to have capital. So that means
Mhm.
you're able to buy a house, for example, for $150,000,
Sure.
maybe rehab it for 25,000, put it back on the market and sell it for 280,000, right? That's
Mhm.
a $100,000 win, but you use $150,000 credit. Your down payment, let's just say, was 20% of,
Mhm.
150,000. So you're about $25,000, $30,000 that you
Right.
can use from a credit card or open line of credit, right?
Right.
That $30,000 that you borrowed for your down payment and closing costs is going to now make you more than 100,000. So you have enough to pay off your $150,000 for the purchase price, and then you also have enough to pay off your down payment and your closing costs. And that part is very, very, very important. Hey, Miracle, I see you on here, girl. So that part is very, very, very important. You guys share this feed with other people too right now, because this conversation is really going to set you up like in
Mhm.
a very, very good way. And I think we have to keep hearing it, right?
Yeah.
The Bible talks about how faith cometh by hearing, wealth cometh by hearing. You got to keep hearing wealth secrets. You got to keep hearing wealth strategies. This is how you're going to eventually get into a groove where you get very comfortable with debt.
Right.
Because now let's talk a little bit about this. Now, so they start off, so somebody comes to you and
Mhm.
their credit score, what's the ideal credit score?
So we would want the ideal credit score to be somewhere around 710 to 720. But more specifically, we really want to look at what's on that credit report. So our score is one thing, but what makes up the actual profile? Because you can definitely have, let's say, if you become an authorized user on someone's account and you have a friend or a family member that has exceptional payment history. So they add you to their cart, and that's a great strategy to help you piggyback off what they're doing, and that's going to increase your score. However, you really, really want to build your own profile with your own primary accounts that you are responsible for. So, on one hand, we look at the score. 720 is very telling. 710 is like, okay, you got some good things going on. More than likely, you don't owe anyone, those things. But now let's dig a little bit deeper into the profile and make sure we have not artificially increased our credit score.
Okay, so that's good. Now, the other thing I want to say this too
Mhm.
is we definitely can get you funded if you're ideally 710, 720.
Sure.
But one of the things that I really love about your credit program is that you actually can help people get their hard inquiries off within
Yes.
just a matter of 30 to 90, 120
Yes.
days, which is a big deal, because one of the things that happens with a lot of investors, right, Miracle,
Mhm.
right, Tanya, is that you got tons of inquiries. I had like 20
Sure.
hard inquiries on my credit last year just from all the different moves I was making. I
Mhm.
got them all removed off, and I think I'm down to 3. My credit score is right at about 800, which is amazing. And
Mhm.
so you can actually help them to repair their credit. What are some things that your company is really good? And this is why we partner with Shay here at Acetify, because I wanted to make sure that all of our clients, everybody in our community is really able to move. Like, I need everybody to be able to move. When opportunities come, I need you to be able to move. So talk about some of the things that
Mhm.
that your company does to help get some of those things off of there. What are some of the things that you guys have been able to do?
Sure. So let me also just say this. There's, and this is respectfully, there's not anything on your credit report that cannot be removed. So repossession, foreclosure, bankruptcy, hard inquiries, collections, medical collections, student loans, all of these things are not exempt from removal, because what we really, really dig down into is using the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which basically governs Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, right? So we use the Fair Credit Reporting Act to help you remove those items. And when I say help you, do it for you, help you remove those items off of your credit report because they are violating your rights in the first place. So nothing is exempt. So by looking at our clients' profiles, we're able to say, identify that this is negatively impacting you, and here's how we're going to address it to essentially build that credit profile, make sure that score matches that profile, and then be able to get you access to funding, because we want to walk in there with a clean slate. You don't want anybody knowing like your past and your history, right? So we're walking into this relationship with this bank brand new. So that's our goal, to make sure you are walking in spick and span, and whatever past mistakes happened, we're not bringing that into, these new relationships.
Okay, that's good. So you can help them get off past collections, bankruptcy. That part is huge, because a lot of times people feel like, oh, I filed bankrupt, so I don't know if you can get that off.
Yeah.
So how long does bankruptcy usually take to get off?
So a bankruptcy is probably one of the longest things to be removed, and that can be anywhere from 6 to 9 months. However, even at 12 months, when we think about it, right, let's paint a picture. you would have had to have that bankruptcy on your credit report for 7 to 10 years. Let's say you connect with us, right? And we help you get that bankruptcy off your credit report in 9 months, even 12 months. So we shaved off essentially several years. And in that time, we're also, again, worried about your credit profile. So we're building and we're doing these amazing things on your profile. So now you have access to 50, 100K. So how long would it have taken you in that same time frame, even 10 years, to just save that 100K? So that's really the value in it, for sure.
That's good. That's really good. And I think the key is with wealth development. I want people to know you got to start.
Yeah.
Like when you keep saying, okay, I'm gonna do it next month. Okay, I'm
Yes.
gonna do it next quarter. Okay, I'm gonna do it next. You're losing time. Like you want to put yourself in a position to get into the market as soon as you possibly can. Right.
Absolutely.
Hey, I see our son out here, Vin. Hey, son. You want to position yourself to get in the market like as soon as possible. You don't want to just keep, I got this, I got that. Stuff is always going to be there. The children are going to be there. If anything, I
Sure.
tell parents, listen, your children need you to be wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they need you to be wealthy. We're in 2024. Like wealth doesn't need to be an option because it impacts every area of your life. It impacts where they go to school. It impacts whether they do extracurricular activities or not. It impacts the zip code you sleep in. It impacts the mattress you sleep on. It impacts the grocery store I mean, like literally it impacts every single area of your life. And so you really do have to get serious and say, you know what? I cannot be stuck in the middle or squoze even to the bottom. I got to make sure I position myself. And the first thing you got to do is connect with people that got your answer, not your problem. I don't need to sit around with people talking about all day, my credit bad, I can't do nothing. Okay, it's an answer. Figure out what the answer is and get with the people that got the answer, right? Okay, so now let's take it a step further. So you're going to help correct their credit. On average, if it's not something like bankruptcy, it might take what, 30 to 90 days to
Yes.
possibly get them
Yes.
their stuff together?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
So, and it's all about strategy. It's all about understanding the process, and it's about us really, again, what's affecting our credit. Let's take that off the table, because a lot of times we're like, okay, well, I have this on my report, so I just have to stay with it, right? And then we don't realize that's not the case. It's just not the case. But the moment you decide you're going to keep yourself in that situation, that's what prolongs it. So it's so many options under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. We just gotta do it. That's really just it. It
Yeah.
starts with a consultation.
It
Getting
starts with a consultation. And
Yeah,
girl, and let me tell you something. We some hustlers over here. I
right.
was on the phone with Shay last night at like 9, 10 o'clock.
Right.
For about a quick 10 people that I just had
Yeah.
just waiting, like ready to get going. Like we got goals, and that's how I think. Like I move with urgency every day. Every day I move with urgency every single day because I know I have very, very big goals for 2024
Mhm.
for myself in building a real estate empire. A lot of you have, very big goals of building a real estate empire. Why real estate? Why now? Because real estate, people are always going to need a place to stay. And especially to you entrepreneurs, I'm glad y'all hustling. I'm glad y'all, doing this, doing that, pushing this, pushing that. But there is
Mhm.
nothing like having tenants pay you every single month. That is a very, very powerful thing. It's nothing like, buying a house, putting money into it, and then making it pretty and putting it back on the market and making minimally. I tell people you shouldn't be making any less than $15,000 on a buy and flip, and you could end up making, 50,000, 100,000. Imagine doing that a couple times a year, but you got to have the good credit. So now they need to have their own, they need to have business LLCs too,
Yes.
right? Okay,
Yes.
so once they have that, now you recommend a couple LLCs because each LLC they can get money from. Talk about that.
Exactly. So that's the main idea. So let's say your profile's in position and we're getting you funding on ABC Consulting. So now ABC Consultant has gotten funding, let's say 100K, 200K, because we're gonna max this out. Now, while we're removing those inquiries, which again, let's say 30 to 90 days, we now have multiple LLCs that we can now do another round of funding on. So that way we have all these banks. Each LLC is a different identity. So now we are reaching out to all these banks, shaking hands, right? Making agreements. And now we're just going to keep going on with that process while we're removing those inquiries, while we're continuing to build more relationships. So
Okay,
it
so wait,
I
hold
see
on.
uh-huh,
I love that. So you're
okay,
doing both at the same time. You
yes,
fixing the credit, and then you're also having them establish checking accounts at these different
yes.
banks at the same time.
Absolutely. Relationships are key. And there's a lot of places where now they're changing it to where you would need to have a login or a relationship with that bank. So that's how you know the industry is changing. It's you can't just, hey, I'm just gonna go to this bank. No. We want to have those relationships. We definitely do. Yes.
Okay, that's really good. So now you're working on both of them. You're making sure they're establishing the relationship
Sure.
at the same time, and then you're cleaning up their credit at the same time.
Right.
And then after that is the next thing going to be okay. Let me just address this real quick. Whitney said, "Is it guaranteed to be removed?" I've heard people sign up for these programs and they don't get things removed, so they feel like it's a waste of money. You want to address that?
Sure, sure. So what I will say is now every company is different. There are people that are practicing credit repair, and then there are people that are certified like myself. There are people that have actually studied consumer law for the last 3 years. So that's a difference. When someone is simply using a template, no shade. And then when someone has the knowledge to only use consumer law. So when we say it's a guarantee because it's black and white. I'm not like, we're not rolling the dice, right? So we're literally, okay, I'll even say this, right? Okay, if you were to look up right now, 15 USC 1681 B2, and I hope you don't mind, Jewel, right? If you're looking up that statute, right? 15 USC 1681 B2, which states nothing can be on your credit report without your written consent. Nothing. So what I mean is there's so many things that the Fair Credit Report Act allows you to do. So it's not a guarantee because I say so. It's a guarantee because this was written in 1970. So let's also keep that in mind. We are 50 something years late to the party. Okay. So if we even just think about that, so it sounds impossible because we are 50 years late. So it's guaranteed by law. Um, and that's just really that. It's black and white.
Okay, all right, powerful. So Whitney, all right, you heard that girl. Okay, so now let's keep moving. You're
Sure.
cleaning up the credit, and you're also helping them to establish relationships with the bank. Ideally, we want them to have two LLCs.
Mhm.
Then right after that, on average, how much are you able to start getting them in funding?
Sure. On average, 50K. And that's going to be one LLC. And that's what a profile that's decent. The stronger the profile, the more funding we're going to get. All right. So if we can even think about it this way, right? Let's just say I'm going to Bank of Georgia, right? Just making something up. Bank of Georgia. And let's say Bank of Georgia has 4 business products. I have 2 LLCs. For each business product, if they were to, let's be modest, and they were to give us 25K, right? And let's say a line of credit of 50K. So now, you know what I mean? Let's do that math of what that looks like, right? So the more relationships we have with banks, the more products the banks have, the more LLCs we have. So modestly, we're talking 50K. But do you see how easy that
Yeah.
50K could be
Yeah.
100K, could be 200K?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And I'm glad you said that because
Mhm,
that's what my ideal client comes to me with $50,000 available. That gives me more than enough to be able to do what they need to do. That's
mhm,
me looking at a house of somewhere between 50 and $100,000. That assuming they're going to put 20% down.
mhm,
Let's just say 20% of 100,000 is 20. Closing costs 25. They'll get 100% rehab from the lender, and they'll
mhm,
have to start with at least $10,000 up front to
mhm,
pay. So now they got $25,000 down payment, closing costs, and then another 10 to start the rehab. That's
sure.
35. Then we use the rest of that to help pay their note because the minute you get that money, that's not free money. So I
Right,
want to get you moving into the asset immediately as soon as
right.
possible. And that's what I really love about this. This allows us to bring people into this space and get them moving into the
Mhm,
asset like right away. Okay.
absolutely.
All right. Now the other thing I wanted to say, when you get, let's just say you get $50,000, the other thing that I love, talk about the process, because if they get that $50,000, they pay that on time. Don't let that 30 days slip. Is
Right.
there a big difference? Okay, let's just say they get $50,000 on March 1st.
Hmm.
It's due April 1st. If they pay April 3rd, 4th, 5th, not letting it go 30 days, is that a ding to their credit?
No, so that's not a ding to their credit at all because it has to go past that 30 days. The only thing you would just be assessed with a late fee from that company. So anywhere from $30 to $40 for paying late. But absolutely, another thing I'm big on is just credit education. So I'm going to automatically say, let's just go ahead and set up that auto pay for that minimum payment. And let's just go ahead and, have that going for sure.
Okay, beautiful. But the other thing that I love is once they get the $50,000, let's say they get the $50,000 March 1st, they're paying on time. How long is it before they have to wait to apply for an increase of credit availability?
Hmm. So some lenders it's gonna be more so of a 6 month period, and some are going to be closer to a year. It definitely has a lot to do again with that relationship that you have built, a lot to do with the transactions, and it doesn't have to be large amounts, but you want to use that account, right? You want to seem valuable to the bank. So we have some transactions going on, we're building this relationship with them, we're going to be more likely to get those credit limit increases. But then also there's thousands of banks. So while that 6 months is kind of like waiting out, if we're, we don't want to be too pressed, but if we're while we're waiting that out, we have multiple LLCs and we have thousands of banks that we can leverage.
Okay, that's really great. Okay, you guys. So listen, that's the play. Okay. So we're gonna help you get your credit together. She'll do a free credit analysis for you.
Yes.
Okay. Free credit analysis for you. And then after she does a free credit analysis, we're gonna see she's gonna see exactly what needs to be done.
Hmm.
For some of you, there may be a small charge to clean some things up. Maybe your credit is already good and she can take you straight and start getting you money to get
Sure.
funded so that you can get into the market. Because remember, and I'm going to keep saying this because this is very, very important. Real estate is probably one of the top assets out of all the five asset classes of how people develop wealth. It's
Hmm.
equity. You're getting equity, you're getting price appreciation, and then you're also getting cash flow. I like to invest in the inner city. My husband likes to invest more in luxury homes. But regardless of how you decide that you want to invest, you're
Hmm.
going to get equity. You can use equity from one property, pull it out to then invest in another. Plus, now you have your credit cards and your open lines of credit. You can also assign your credit cards to contractors. I have
Yes.
contractors that have credit cards. I can monitor their spending on my app with
Hmm.
American Express. And I'm sure you can do this with all of them. American Express, I can change their credit limit. I can freeze their cards. I
Hmm.
can see how much did they spend at Home Depot, how much did they spend at Lowe's. So that way, because you want to we're going to help you set up a financial blueprint that makes your that makes your building real estate empire as sweatless and as seamless as possible. You don't have to do it the old school way. It was so cute. I was talking to a client today, and she goes, "I got to come to Detroit so I can go get supplies for the contractor." I said, "No, no, no. Remember, honey, what we're going to do is he's going to do a phone sale. But after he does this property, you feel comfortable, you can go ahead and assign him a credit card,
Hmm.
right? And you can put limits on it, right? So you don't have to worry about, oh, is he going to go use it the wrong way? I'm going to put limits on it, right? And then I'm going to be able to see all of those transactions that happen. So if anything is, discrepancy,
Hmm.
I can go back and say, blah, 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 blah. If he goes rogue, he goes MIA, he goes
Sure.
crazy, you can put a freeze on it and then you can put limits on it, right? So
Right.
these things are very, 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 very important. All right. Somebody said, can you discuss the time investment expectations for me after joining the program? Well, I mean, really, it's just about submitting your information to us. You guys can message me, okay? For those of you on Messenger, say, hey, I want to get in. So what I would do is get you to Shay,
Hmm.
and then she'll do a credit analysis. And then once she does a credit analysis, she'll tell you, hey, these are the 5 things that need to happen, or hey, you know what? You're good. We can start getting you funded
Right.
right away.
That's
You know
it.
what I'm saying? We can start getting you funded right away. And then after that, you would come back to me, India, and then we would start discussing your vision for your real estate empire and where you want to start. Do you want to do it in Detroit? Do you want to do it in Indiana? Do you want to do it in Chicago? You can really do it wherever you want. I always tell people I chose Detroit not just because I'm from Detroit, it's home for me, but I chose it because it is probably one of the top cities in the entire nation to get really great deals with great ARV, because it's not just about getting a cheap home, it's
Sure.
about getting the numbers need to be good on the ARV. So after you fix it up and you put it back on the market, you can end up making a nice profit, but you got to have credit to do that. And so what we can do, you think about it like this will be like your vision for 2024. You could take the next, 7, 8 months of this year and say, I'm going to start constructing and building. I'm going to get, 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 worth of credit. Shay's going to help me do that. And then 2025, I'm going to double my empire. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want you to think limitation on credit. I want you to think I'm establishing a relationship with the banks. They're going to love me because I'm going to pay them on time, right? Even if it's a minimum, I'm going to pay them on time. And in some cases, pay it off and go back and do the same thing or whatever. And then keep getting more money so we can continue to scale your financial portfolio at large, right? So Shay, this weekend in Atlanta is going to be amazing, right?
Amazing. I can't wait. I can't wait. Like absolutely. We're going to leave. Everybody that's in the building is going to leave knowing exactly how to get in position with their credit. I mean, I'm giving away letters because I don't want anyone to leave feeling like, okay, this is great and I want to, invest, but this is stopping me. We're going to take that off the table. Credit is not stopping you. We're
Yeah.
absolutely, I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it's going to be great. It's going to be really strong. I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to add a ton of value. You guys are going to know exactly what to do. You're going to know exactly how to do it. We're taking away all the guesswork, right? And I can tell you right now that, by the grace of God, I became a multiple millionaire independent of my husband's wealth quite a few years ago, but it happened because of relationships. Your destiny will move at the speed of your relationships.
Mm-hmm.
When you get in the room with other people that are talking bigger, that are thinking bigger, that are processing different than you, that's how you grow. Wealth is a language. It really is. And so what you got to do is you got to get around people that speak the language. Even if some of the stuff you feel like, oh, that's over my head, I didn't understand that. We're going to have time for you to ask questions. And it's an intimate setting. Like this is not a big conference. We did it intimately on purpose because we really wanted to make sure that when you all left, you leave with a ton of value. Like you are so clear. And a lot of your vision is going to be expanded. You might come in thinking, if I could just make da 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 da, and then you're going to realize like, oh my gosh, like my vision just got flipped upside down and now I'm really ready to go for it. The event is not virtual, unfortunately, India, not this one. But definitely those of you that can be in Atlanta, Georgia, I put the conference link right there, mobilehomeCloser.com /Monopoly Conference. Shay, I like the way you move. On average, when people reach out to you, you have them fill out, what do they need to do right now? Those that are watching, like, hey, I want to get ahead of it. Do they need to sign up for Identity IQ? Talk about that.
Yes, definitely sign up for Identity IQ so that you already have that credit monitoring, because when you connect with me on that form that you're going to fill out, I need to have all that information because I don't need this to be, a back and forth kind of thing. I'm going to have everything I need. You're going to know exactly what the expectations are. So when we get on the phone, it's, I'm identifying and then here's our action plan. Like that's how we move.
Yeah, period.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to identify and then move. So there's not going to be this like 7-day wait, this 10-day wait, this 20-day wait.
No.
Literally, we about to get you straight into it and get you moving because it's already mid-April. So my goal is for those of you that are on here today that are ready to say, hey, I'm ready to get started. I want you to message me. I'm ready. Okay. And then I'll reach out to you. Also, I want to tell you, we have an amazing We have an amazing community. It's just $59 a month. And this is going to put you in there with other investors, contractors, plumbers, HVAC, like everybody that you need to ask questions. You need to be in a community on a consistent basis, right? And so if you'd like to join that $59 community, make sure you message me as well. I'll get that link over to you. And then some of you want some one-on-one coaching. You might say, hey, I want you to take me from beginning to end. I want you to help me find the off-market property. I need your help with finding the investor, finding the contractors to fix the house. I need your help with the title company. I need your help with designing the property and putting it back on the market so I can get it sold. One-on-one coaching I do for $5,000. And literally, and that's hand holding, right? Literally, that's ending May 1st. That price is going up to $10,000. The $10,000 package will be the hand holding. I'm not doing any more hand holding at 5. I've done it for quite a few people. We've had a lot of success, and it's a lot of work, and I do love it. I've been called to do it, but the price is going up May 1st to 10K. Okay. So, but those of you that want the hand holding at 5K, you want to go ahead and make a move now. The 10K will be the new price for the hand holding. And then 25K for those of you that are serious about building a multifamily portfolio between now and the end of the year. When you start getting into multifamily, Shay, like it's commercial lending. So it's like a horse of a different color. It's not as easy to get approved. Not only does your credit have to be together, not only do you have to have money seasoned, but you have to have a level of experience. And so this is where partnership becomes really important. And these are for people that I'm going to say already have at least a little bit of taste in the real estate game. If you're a brand new newbie, you need to start at the 5 or 10 plan. Okay. But if you've been doing it a minute and you're really ready to scale, you want one roof and 10 doors or one roof and 20 doors, the 25K is definitely going to be the package that you want to get. But again, right now, the 5K is available for handholding until May 1st. Okay. So if you're interested in that, make sure you message me on Messenger, and I'll look forward to looking for that. The team and I will be watching that. I hope to see you in Atlanta, Georgia. Anybody planning on coming to Atlanta? Make sure you message me that too, because I want to make sure I meet you face to face. Shay wants to meet you face to face. Shay, thanks for jumping on here tonight, girl. This was great. And I see one of our clients just texted and said the form has been sent, and I got a couple more people I'm going to send you tonight. But thanks so much for jumping on here, and I look forward to seeing you Friday at the conference. Okay.
Yes, I'll see you guys.
All right. Bye-bye.